When underestimation becomes a fatal error, the vast emptiness of space stretched out before the viewports of the UES Intrepid. Commander Elena Reyes stood with her hands clasped behind her back, dark eyes scanning the holographic displays that surrounded her circular command center. The Intrepid wasn't the largest vessel in Earth's defense fleet, but what it lacked in size, it made up for in innovation. "Commander, we're detecting 3 vessels approaching from the Kepler sector," Lieutenant Harrison reported, his fingers dancing across the translucent interface. "Configuration unknown. Definitely not Commonwealth or Alliance designs." Elena nodded, her face betraying nothing. "Hail them on standard frequencies, let's be neighborly." The Intrepid had been patrolling this sector for months, maintaining humanity's presence along the newly established borders with several alien civilizations. Most encounters were peaceful, if sometimes tense. Humanity was still relatively new to the galactic stage, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 40 years earlier. "No response to hails, Commander," Communications Officer Patel announced. "But they're scanning us. Intensive scans, penetrating our outer hull layers." Elena frowned. Such scans were considered intrusive at best, hostile at worst. "Raise defensive screens, passive mode, continue hailing." The approaching vessels grew larger on the display, sleek predatory ships with hulls that seemed to shimmer with an internal light. Their design was unfamiliar, but their positioning was unmistakable. Attack formation. "They're responding," Patel said suddenly. The main view screen flickered, revealing a humanoid figure with iridescent scales covering its face. 4 pupils dilated within vertical slits as the alien regarded Elena with visible disdain. "This is Commander Elena Reyes of the United Earthship Intrepid. You've entered a jointly patrolled sector. State your intentions." The alien's mouth formed, what might have been a smile. "I am Overseer Calvex of the Valkyrie Dominion. Your primitive vessel is trespassing in space claimed by our people." Elena kept her expression neutral. The Valkyrie, she'd heard reports but never encountered them directly. Known for technological superiority and an expansionist philosophy. "Our navigation charts and the Galactic Accord of 2187 place this as neutral space," Elena replied. "We're on a routine patrol mission." The Valkyrie made a dismissive gesture. "Your accords mean nothing. Your species barely understands how to harness fusion power. Your ships are quaint toys compared to Valkyrie technology." The alien leaned forward. "Surrender your vessel for study. Your crew will be treated humanely in our research facilities." Elena's jaw tightened. "With respect, Overseer, we must decline. We'll withdraw to avoid any misunderstanding, but the Intrepid remains under Earth command." Calvex's pupils contracted to pinpoints. "How adorable. You believe you have a choice?" The alien turned, barking orders in its native tongue. "Your vessel's defensive capabilities were assessed during our scan. Resistance is mathematically impossible. You will be disabled in approximately 30 seconds. The transmission cut and Elena's training took over. "Battle stations, full power to adaptive screens, evasive pattern Epsilon." The bridge erupted into controlled chaos as crew members rushed to their combat positions. Warning klaxons echoed through the ship. "Multiple energy signatures, they're firing," Tactical Officer Chen announced, her voice steady despite the threat. The first volley from the Valkyrie vessels struck the Intrepid's shields, brilliant flashes of energy washing over the protective barrier. The ship shuddered, but held. "Shields at 82%, reported Lieutenant Harrison. "Their weapons are recalibrating. They seem surprised we're still here." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "The adaptive matrix is working. Let's show them what happens when you underestimate humans. Tactical, prepare countermeasures. Execute Hydra protocol." The Valkyrie ships adjusted their position, clearly preparing for another attack. Their second volley was more focused. Beams of coherent energy striking precise points on the Intrepid's shields. "They're targeting what they perceive as weak points," Chen observed. "But the adaptive matrix is redistributing energy." This was humanity's advantage. While other species developed bigger weapons and stronger static shields, humans had taken a different approach. The Intrepid's defensive systems learned and adapted in real time, analyzing attack patterns and reconfiguring to counter them. Shields holding at 67%, Harrison reported. Matrix is adapting to their frequency. Deploy countermeasures, Elena ordered. And prepare main batteries. From concealed ports along the Intrepid's hull, dozens of small objects launched into space. They appeared to be simple debris to sensors, but each contained a miniature quantum field generator. As they spread between the combatants, they began to interfere with the Valkyrie targeting systems. They're having difficulty maintaining lock, Chen reported with satisfaction. Their third volley is scattering. The Valkyrie ships adjusted position again, attempting to maneuver around the field of countermeasures. Their movements betrayed frustration. This battle wasn't proceeding according to their calculations. Overseer Calvex is hailing us again, Patel announced. Elena nodded. On screen, the Valkyrie commander appeared, mandibles flaring in what Elena recognized as anger. What trickery is this? Your defensive capabilities exceed our analysis. Perhaps your analysis was flawed, Elena replied calmly. I suggest you withdraw before this escalation becomes regrettable for both sides. Primitive deception, Calvex snarled. We will dissect your vessel and learn your secrets. The transmission cut again. Elena turned to her tactical officer. They're committed now. Prepare primary weapons. Target their propulsion systems. Non-lethal strikes only. The Intrepids. Main batteries charged. Energy coalescing at emitter points along the hull. Unlike the brute force weapons of many species, human weapons were surgical, designed to disable rather than destroy when possible. Commander, Harrison interjected urgently. 2 more vessels on long-range sensors. They're ours, the Defiant, and the Relentless responding to our automated distress call. Elena nodded. Perfect timing. Chen synchronized targeting data with our reinforcements. The Valkyrie ships launched another attack, this one more desperate and less coordinated. Some shots found their mark, causing the Intrepid to shudder violently. Shields at 41%, Harrison reported. Sections 12 through 14 reporting minor damage. Now, Elena ordered. Execute coordinated strike. The Intrepid fired, joined seconds later by precision strikes from the newly arrived human vessels. Their weapons struck the Valkyrie ship's engine sections with surgical precision. Not to destroy, but to disable. The effect was immediate. One Valkyrie vessel spun out of control, its propulsion systems dark. Another listed heavily to port, emergency systems visibly activating along its hull. The flagship, Calvex's vessel, maintained partial mobility but was clearly crippled. The Defiant and Relentless are moving into position, Harrison reported. Admiral Wong is requesting to speak with you. The view screen shifted to show Admiral Wong's weathered face. Quite a situation you've found yourself in, Commander Reyes. Just introducing ourselves to the neighbors, Admiral, Elena replied. Wong chuckled. Well, your neighbors have apparently been causing trouble in multiple sectors. The diplomatic corps will be interested in this encounter. His expression grew serious. Casualties? None so far, Admiral. Minor injuries only. Excellent work. Wong nodded approvingly. The Valkyrie have relied on technological superiority for centuries. They've grown complacent, forgetting that innovation often comes from necessity. He paused. We'll secure the disabled vessels. Prepare your sensor logs and tactical data for transmission to Earth Command. After the transmission ended, Elena surveyed her bridge. Despite the attack, her crew remained focused and professional. This had been their first true combat situation, and they had performed admirably. Commander, Patel called out. Overseer, Calvex is requesting communication. On screen, Elena ordered, straightening her uniform. The Valkyrie's face appeared, scales dulled with what might have been shock or disbelief. This outcome is impossible. Your technology should be decades behind ours. You made a critical error, Overseer, Elena replied calmly. You judged our capability by our history, not our potential. Humans don't develop technology like other species. Explain, demanded Calvex. Most species evolve in relatively stable environments. Humans come from what many call a death world, constant Environmental changes, diverse predators, variable climates. We don't build technology to be perfect, we build it to adapt. Elena leaned forward. Your ships have more powerful weapons, but ours learn from each attack. Your shields are stronger, but ours reconfigure to counter specific threats. Impossible, the Valkyrie hissed. And yet, here we are. Elena gestured to the disabled Valkyrie. Fleet. Commonwealth representatives will arrive soon to mediate the situation. Your crew will be treated with respect according to galactic accords, the same accords you dismissed. As the transmission ended, Elena looked out at the stars beyond the viewport. Humanity had fought hard for its place among those stars, not through conquest but through resilience and innovation. The galaxy was vast and often dangerous, but humans had survived worse odds on their home planet. Status report, she called to her officers. Repairs underway, Commander. Harrison responded. Adaptive matrix recalibrating. We'll be back to 92% efficiency within the hour. Elena nodded, satisfied. Set course to rendezvous with the diplomatic vessel. I believe we have a galactic council meeting to prepare for. The Intrepid turned gracefully, its systems already healing, adapting, improving. Just like humanity always had. The galaxy bears witness. The Intrepid drifted in high orbit above Nexus Station, the massive wheel-shaped structure that housed the Galactic Council's headquarters. Through the viewport in her quarters, Commander Elena Reyes could see the gleaming hulls of hundreds of vessels representing dozens of species. Many had arrived specifically for today's emergency session. A soft chime announced a visitor. Enter, Elena called, turning from the view. Ambassador Ibrahim Singh stepped into the room, his ceremonial diplomatic uniform a stark contrast to Elena's utilitarian fleet attire. Commander, he greeted with a respectful nod. How are your crew? Recovering. Well, Elena replied. 3 injured during the engagement, but medical says they'll be back on duty within days. She gestured to a chair. The Valkyrie? Ibrahim's expression tightened. That's why I'm here. They've filed formal charges against Earth, unprovoked. Aggression, violation of sovereign territory, and excessive use of force. He paused. They've presented edited sensor logs showing the Intrepid firing first. Elena's eyes narrowed. Falsified evidence? Bold move. Indeed. But perhaps not surprising. For a species that has dominated their sector through intimidation and technological superiority. Ibrahim's dark eyes reflected the starlight. The Valkyrie have operated this way for centuries. Attack, claim victimhood, then demand reparations and technology transfers as compensation. And now they've tried it with humans, Elena said. A hint of steel in her voice, precisely. The council session begins in 2 hours. Your presence has been requested. The hero commander who repelled an unprovoked Valkyrie attack. Ibrahim smiled slightly. Elena winced at the characterization. I'm not comfortable being portrayed as a hero, Ambassador. My crew and I simply did our jobs. That humility, Ibrahim noted, is another trait many species find puzzling about humans. The Valkyrie would be boasting of their victory had the situation been reversed. He handed her a data crystal. Your complete, unaltered sensor logs and communications records. The truth is our strongest weapon today. 2 hours later, Elena stood in the antechamber of the Great Hall, adjusting her dress uniform as ambassador. Ibrahim conferred with representatives from allied species. The massive doors were inscribed with the symbols of the founding members of the Galactic Council, species that had achieved interstellar travel thousands of years before humans had. Harnessed electricity. It's intimidating, isn't it? A voice spoke beside her. Elena turned to find Admiral Wong studying the ancient doors. The history, you mean? Elena asked. The weight of it all, Wong clarified. Many of these species were building wonders while our ancestors were still figuring out agriculture. Yet here we stand, barely 2 centuries into our space age, already making waves. He smiled wryly. Most species spend millennia gradually expanding through the cosmos. Humans? We practically kicked down the door. Before Elena could respond, a melodious tone echoed through the chamber. The doors began to part, revealing the vast hemispherical chamber beyond. Tiered seating accommodated representatives from over 200 spacefaring species. With the council mediators, members of the ancient and respected Ilari race, seated at the focal point. The human delegation was directed to a platform on one side of the chamber. Opposite them, Overseer Calvex and several Valkyrie officials occupied a similar space. Elena noted that the Overseer's scales had been polished to a high sheen for the occasion, and ceremonial implants now adorned the ridges above his eyes. Senior Mediator Tay Lauren, her translucent skin rippling with subtle bioluminescence, rose to address the assembly. This emergency session of the Galactic Council is convened to address the military encounter between vessels of the United Earth Government and the Valkyrie Dominion in the Kepler Transit Sector. As is custom, both parties may present evidence and testimony. Calvex moved forward immediately. Esteemed mediators, honored representatives, the Valkyrie began, voice modulated to project authority. 3 standard cycles ago, a routine Valkyrie patrol encountered a human vessel in designated Valkyrie space. Despite our peaceful hails, the human vessel opened fire without provocation. A murmur rippled through the assembly as Calvex activated a holographic display. The recording showed the Intrepid firing upon Valkyrie vessels that appeared to be in a non-aggressive stance. As you can see, Calvex continued, the humans attacked without warning, damaging 3 Valkyrie vessels that were simply defending sovereign territory. When reinforcements arrived, they disabled our entire patrol group in an excessive show of force. The Valkyrie Overseer turned toward the human delegation, mandibles flaring slightly. The humans are newcomers to the galactic community. Perhaps they do not yet understand civilized conduct between species. We demand reparations for our damaged vessels and a technology transfer as compensation for this unprovoked aggression. Senior Mediator Ty Lauren nodded. The Council acknowledges the Valkyrie statement. The human delegation may now present their response. Ambassador Ibrahim stepped forward, his posture relaxed but dignified. Esteemed mediators, representatives of the galactic community, the United Earth Government values truth above all in these proceedings. He paused, letting his gaze sweep the assembly. The evidence presented by Overseer Calvex has been skillfully edited. Allow me to present the complete record. Ibrahim activated his own holographic display. Unlike the Valkyrie's carefully cropped footage, this recording showed the entire encounter. From the initial scan of the Intrepid to Calvex's dismissal of human technology as primitive, the ultimatum, and finally, the first volley fired by Valkyrie ships. As the recording played, Elena observed the reaction among the council representatives. Some showed shock, others nodded as if confirming suspicions. The Valkyrie delegation shifted uncomfortably. Furthermore, Ibrahim continued after the recording ended, I would like to call Commander Elena Reyes of the UES Intrepid to provide testimony about the encounter. Elena stepped forward, feeling the weight of hundreds of alien gazes. Honorable mediators, representatives, the Intrepid was on a routine patrol in what our navigation charts, approved by this council, designate as neutral space. When the Valkyrie vessels approached, we followed standard first contact protocols. She described the encounter in precise detail, her military training evident in her clear, factual account. At no point did we fire first. Our actions were defensive, and when we gained tactical advantage, we specifically targeted non-critical systems to disable rather than destroy the Valkyrie vessels. A representative from the Meridian Collective, a species known for their analytical minds, raised a manipulator appendage. If I may, Senior Mediator, the evidence clearly shows the Valkyrie fired first, but there is a discrepancy that troubles me. Overseer Calvex stated that their scans showed the human vessel to be significantly less advanced than Valkyrie ships. Yet the outcome suggests otherwise. How is this possible? Admiral Wong stepped forward. With the ambassador's permission? Ibrahim nodded, and Wong addressed the council. Representatives of the galaxy, there is a fundamental misunderstanding about human technological development that I believe requires clarification. He activated a new holographic display, showing Earth's technological progression compared to other species. Most spacefaring races develop technology in a linear, incremental fashion. Humans do not. Our history is filled with technological leaps, driven by necessity and crisis. The display shifted to show the Intrepid's adaptive defense systems. Where other species build bigger weapons and stronger shields, we build systems that learn and adapt. The Valkyrie ships carried more raw firepower, but their technology is static, designed to overwhelm through superior force. Our vessels are designed to survive, to adapt, and to overcome unexpected threats. A representative from the ancient Juracan species leaned forward. This approach is unusual. Most species seek technological perfection through iteration. Perfection is a luxury humans never had, Wang replied. Earth is what many species classify as a death world: high gravity, extreme climate variation, diverse predators, natural disasters. Humans didn't evolve seeking perfection. We evolved seeking adaptation. The senior mediator considered this explanation. Overseer Calvex, do you wish to respond to these claims? The Valkyrie seemed momentarily flustered before regaining composure. These humans distort the truth. Their technology cannot possibly match ours. We have dominated our sector for millennia. An unexpected voice joined the discussion, a representative of the Nelvarans, a species known for their neutrality. If I may offer perspective, mediators, my people have observed human development since their first interstellar flights. Their approach is indeed unorthodox. The Nelvarans' multifaceted eyes blinked in sequence. Where we build technology to last centuries, humans build technology expecting it to be obsolete in decades. They embrace obsolescence as an opportunity for reinvention. Other representatives began sharing observations about human adaptability, how Earth vessels incorporated beneficial aspects from dozens of species' designs, how human colonies adjusted to environments that would challenge even the most adaptable races. Elena watched as the tide of the Council's opinion visibly shifted. The Valkyrie delegation grew increasingly agitated. This is irrelevant, Calvex finally burst out. The humans violated our territory. Senior mediator Tyloran raised a hand for silence. The navigational data has been reviewed. The encounter occurred in neutral space as designated by Galactic Accord 2187, Section 12, which the Valkyrie Dominion signed. Her bioluminescence pulsed with subtle patterns. Furthermore, the unaltered recordings clearly show the Valkyrie vessels initiating hostilities. She rose to her full height, her voice carrying effortlessly through the chamber. This council finds that the United Earth ship Intrepid acted in legitimate self-defense when attacked by vessels of the Valkyrie Dominion. The human response was proportional and showed restraint by deliberately avoiding loss of life. The mediator turned toward the Valkyrie delegation. The council censures the Valkyrie Dominion for this unprovoked aggression and for presenting falsified evidence before this assembly. Your government will provide compensation for repairs to the UES Intrepid and issue a formal apology to the United Earth government. Calvex's scales darkened with rage, but he remained silent as the senior mediator continued. Further, this Council recommends a peacekeeping presence in the disputed sectors until permanent boundaries can be established. She looked toward Elena and Ibrahim. The restraint shown by Commander Reyes and her crew is noted and commended. As the session concluded, Elena found herself surrounded by representatives from various species, many expressing interest in human adaptive technology and defense strategies. Several hinted at potential alliances or trade agreements. Later, aboard the Intrepid, Elena stood once again before the viewport, watching as repair drones worked on the hull sections damaged during the battle. Ambassador Ibrahim joined her, carrying 2 glasses of amber liquid. Earth whiskey, he explained, offering her one. I keep a small supply for diplomatic occasions. Is this one? Elena asked, accepting the glass. Indeed. Today, humanity demonstrated something important to the galaxy. Ibrahim sipped his drink thoughtfully. Not just our resilience or our technology, but our character. Elena raised an eyebrow questioningly. You could have destroyed those Valkyrie ships, Ibrahim explained. Instead, you disabled them with minimal casualties. In victory, you showed restraint. Many species find that remarkable. It was the right thing to do, Elena said simply. Precisely. Ibrahim smiled. And that, Commander, is what truly terrifies species like the Valkyrie. Not that humans are strong or clever or adaptive, though we are all those things, but that we combine capability with compassion, power with principle. Elena considered this as she looked out at the stars. Humanity had fought hard for its place among those ancient civilizations, not through conquest, but through determination and ingenuity. They had survived a world that tried to kill them daily, developed technology that evolved rather than merely advanced, and emerged into a galaxy both wondrous and dangerous. To humanity's future among the stars, Ibrahim offered, raising his glass. Elena clinked her glass against his. And to making that future better for everyone who shares them with us. As the Intrepid prepared to depart Nexus Station the following day, Elena received a transmission from Admiral Wong. Your actions have opened several diplomatic doors, Commander, he informed her. The Nelvaron Conclave has invited a human delegation to their homeworld, the first non-founder species to receive such an honor in 3 centuries. All because we didn't destroy the Valkyrie when we could have? Elena asked. Wong smiled. Partially, but I think they also recognize something about us that the Valkyrie failed to understand. The galaxy is full of predator species who evolved to dominate, prey species who evolved to hide, and specialist species who evolved to fill specific niches, and humans. We're adapters, Commander. We don't just adapt to our environment, we adapt our environment to us. We take ideas from everywhere and make them our own. His expression grew serious. Some species will see that as a threat, others will see it as an opportunity. As the Intrepid broke orbit and set course for its next mission, Elena thought about humanity's place in this ancient cosmic community. They were newcomers, yes, their civilization mere moments old compared to some of the elder races. But they brought something unique, perspective that wasn't constrained by millennia of tradition, technology that evolved rather than merely advanced, and a spirit forged in adversity. The stars beckoned, full of wonders and dangers alike. Humanity would face both with the same determination that had carried them from caves to the cosmos, adapting, learning, growing. And any species that dismissed them as primitive or weak would learn the same lesson as the Valkyrie. Underestimating humanity was always a mistake, an adorable, fatal mistake.